All right, guys, what's up? Dan Vallimont here with Fanatic Wrestling, also with Dynamic Striking and BJJ Fanatics. And today I'm down in South Florida, joined by Gerard Meerschaert, GM3, as most of you guys may know him in the UFC world. 20-fight veteran in the UFC. Also, one thing I learned today, and I've probably heard it before, but tied for most finishes in the middleweight division, along with somebody you guys might have heard of named Anderson Silva, pretty good fighter. So that puts him in pretty good company. And today, we actually went over a lot of the things that probably helped him to get to a leader in finishing fights, with ways to get to the back and ways to look for his submissions and ways to finish people and the fight quicker. Hey, if you don't have to be out there the whole time, why be out there? Collect that paycheck sooner, right? So, but right now we're just going to get a little bit of a preview of what to expect, as a lot of things Gerald showed today kind of transfer over into wrestling. And for me, as somebody who's worked with fighters but never actually been a professional fighter myself, I think this is something that can help you as a wrestler looking to transition into fighting. Some keys here that one of the best in the division in the UFC has had a ton of success with. So Gerald, just a little preview of what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start in our front headlock position. The first thing I'm going to be looking to do is get a good, nice snap, which most of you are going to know how to do. But the key difference is I'm going to be going for far ankle off the beginning to try to keep my opponent down in this referee's position. So again, I want to be off my knees as long as I can help it. I can go down to a knee when I do this initial snap. Elbows are in position, weight on my partner. I snap it down and elongate him, cover that forearm, and now once I swim to the back, immediately I'm going for this far ankle. So the big thing here is I don't want him to post this or get any kind of leverage. So I'm just kind of draping this hand over the back of his head. I go far ankle and I look to stay on my feet. All right, I'm on the balls of my feet right now, and my toes. My knees are not touching the ground. I got one knee kind of resting on his quad and the other knee kind of in his butt. 45, 90-ish, 45-degree angle. I've got pressure going forward and on top of his hips. So theoretically, the only thing he should be able to do is lift his head up, which is going to allow for easier punches and attempts at chokes. Again, as far as breakdowns from here, I'm not going to break down too much with the far ankle. This is going to be a position I get to, and I'm going to initially start hitting. I'm keeping this ankle exclusively to make sure that he only has one way to try to get up, and that's to lift his head up first. When he starts to do that, I look to punch. When he blocks, I'm going to open my hand up, shove this down, and now I'll take my hand off the far ankle and get a nice tight cross wrist here. Again, close to the body, back into the pocket. My elbow stays close to him, and now it's going to be very easy. If he doesn't move, I TKO, or I start throwing my short boot in, going to the back, and look for the finish from there.
And guys, a couple of things here that he's mentioning too. When he's extending me, if you heard this from a wrestling standpoint, for me, I don't want much weight on my hands when I'm stuck in that front headlock position. When he's extending me, one, he's creating a big gap here, which makes it easier for him to come around and get behind me there. But also, he's getting my weight on my hands. When my weight's on my hands, I can't lift them back up to defend. If my weight's not on my hands, maybe I can jump and maybe grab a single leg or something and defend for a little bit. But when my weight's on my hands and he's extending me, it makes it a lot easier for him to get behind. Also, he's doing a really good job. You might not be able to see so much in the actual film, but as he's mentioned, he's getting pressure. He's up on his toes. If he was kind of laying back on his haunches, there wouldn't be as much weight on me. But not only is he keeping weight on me because he's on the balls of his feet, but when he's lifting up on my ankle and pulling, he's technically pulling himself onto me tighter too. So I mean, you think about it, if you ever stood on a scale and like lifted up on like a table or something and pushed yourself down, you become heavier. So he's essentially making himself heavier by pulling me into him, and it really limits my ability to move there. Can we see that again just from the opposite angle?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm extending. I'm making all that space. I want him to be up on his hands. When I circle around, I'm grabbing here, and my feet are on the ground and not here. I'm pulling, and I'm just kind of leaning my weight forward, pulling that heel high. And again, his only real recourse other than falling over is to lift his head up, and I'm going to start punching. He's going to block. I punch down. I pass it off, and I'm here. Hit TKO. Before I stand up, I get my short boot in, and we go over how to take it back.
Yeah, and so obviously a bunch of different options. Once he isolates my arm, I'm kind of screwed there. He can throw that leg in, like you said. My face is completely wide open for him to lay the punches on me there. So I'm kind of screwed. But I know sometimes some people aren't just going to sit back on their heels here. They'll extend that leg where it's really difficult, especially if you have shorter arms. Sometimes if they're not stepping out that far, you might be able to get to the ankle. But I know for myself, if somebody really steps his leg out far, I'm not going to try to chase that down, right? So what are you looking to do there?
All right, so we got two really good options. One is a very easy kind of breakdown where I'm gonna put my knee on my opponent's instep and I'm just gonna pull their hips across into my lap just to break them down. Again, this is gonna be after I get my knee to a headlock snap, I circle and he's already postured up. I can't get to that ankle, but I can get to the hip. My knee goes into instep, and if I have good enough pressure, see how he's pushing back into me? This is the perfect time to sit my weight away, and I just yank on that hip, and he's gonna go down. Now from here, I can try to step over and get a hook. I'll probably usually try to go for a one-on-one first, so I have some control, and I can start taking it back this way, or even just way on him, so when he builds back up, I start to look for that ankle again, right? But again, if he extends, I can do it from here. Let's go to the other side. Front headlock, snap, and go around. My knee's right in this instep right here, okay? And all I'm doing is I push weight into him, so he pushes back, I sit away, he goes to a hip. Once he's on a hip, I should be able to cover, attack wrist, and get to a superior position. Another really good option, and in my opinion, a very underutilized option, is go for a cradle. So all the wrestlers should know about this. But again, I get a good little snap here. Now as I start circling, I know I can't get this here. I'm up on my toes still, and I'm gonna drape instead of going across the back of his head. It's almost in front like I'm going for a choke, but I'm gonna hop all the way to the other side here and lock my hands. There's a lot of good guys that do this. Keegan O'Toole's very famously really good at cradles. This is one of his good setups. And now once I get here, I can either drive back in, roll it down, start breaking them down here, or if the guy's, just trying to let me get back up, I can even roll back into this position like I'm trying to pin him, and I can start using some of my hooks to come back up and get a superior position.
Nice. And guys, I love anytime I can see wrestling utilized in the fight game. And again, the success speaks for itself. A lot of the stuff in the instructional today I think can be relatable for wrestlers. So if this video isn't out yet, stay on the lookout for it. It's going to be out soon. And again, I learned a lot of stuff today. And I know a lot of wrestlers are transitioning into fighting and having a lot of success. So there's definitely a lot of great things you can learn here. A lot of great stuff you can learn if you're not a wrestler either. So thanks a lot, Gerald. It's been a pleasure being here, working with him. Guys, again, stay on the lookout for this video. And where you're watching this video on our YouTube channel, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're doing that. Subscribe to our Dynamic Striking, BJJ Fanatics, Fanatic Wrestling YouTube pages where there's tons of free content like this. Make sure you like our Facebook pages, join our Facebook groups, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.